If you hood educated, I'm glad you made it. Allow me to unfold my knowledge, wisdom, and understanding from a hood brother's point of view to all of you, here, there, and everywhere. Now check me out. The lawyer has filed a motion in the federal courts. In this motion, he's asking the judge to dismiss the whole case against Lil Durk. And the reason why he's asking the judge to dismiss the case is because he's saying that the prosecution did something foul. He's saying that the prosecution knew the evidence that he presented to the grand jury was false, and he presented it to the grand jury anyway. What evidence you talking about, hood educated? I'm talking about the little snippet that I just showed y'all. Durk's verse, or his last few lyrics in that verse. Now, if they didn't allow y'all to, and when I say they, I'm talking about YouTube, because sometimes, we try to sneak a little video, a little clip in, and YouTube would be like, nah, you can't use that. And then we had to cut it while we making, not while we're making the video, but while we're editing the video for YouTube. So if they didn't allow y'all to see that video clip, allow me just to read from the motion itself, right? Following the attempted murder of Quando Rondo and the murder of Lil Pop, defendant Banks sought to commercialize Lil Pop's death by rapping about his revenge on Quando Rondo, with music that explicitly referenced audio from a news clip taken shortly after Lil Pop's death, where Quando Rondo screamed "no, no" after seeing Lil Pop's body. These are the lyrics. Told me they had an addy, go, go. Got location, go, go. Green light, go, 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 go. Look on the news and see your son screaming, no, no. To me, in my eyes, and just, the way I see things, that whole verse, those lyrics that they are trying to use to say that he was using to celebrate the death of Lil Pop is bullshit. Excuse my language. But it's crap. Those lyrics but that's not the worst part of it. The worst part of it, though, the lawyer, Durk's lawyer, proved that the whole song was made 7 months before the death of Lil Pop, before the attempted murder on Quando Rondo. This song was made 7 months before that. And not only that, the reference that they making as to like the news footage and stuff like that had nothing to do with Lil Durk. Some people on YouTube put that in there in the video, and it had nothing to do with Lil Durk. But the prosecuting attorney is saying that Lil Durk did all this, and that Lil Durk was celebrating the death of Lil Pop. How, when the song came out 7 months before that? And the whole video and all that had nothing to do with, y'all can't prove that. See, this is what I need all my young gangbangers to understand. My drug dealers, everybody that's in that criminal lifestyle. This is what I need y'all to understand. They do stuff like this on a regular basis. This is not the first time I'm seeing this happen, where the prosecuting attorney has grabbed whatever they wanted to grab and say, no, this is what this means. Yeah. The prosecution would grab something that you said or grab a handshake that you did or whatever and say, this is what this means. You sitting up here like, no, that song came out 7 months ago. I don't care about all that. You was talking about what y'all was planning to do. They flip-flop it so much in that courtroom. I'm telling y'all. Y'all need to be terrified when you get a case against you, because this is the type of stuff that they do. And this right here is out of pocket. I'm talking about you. I just don't like it. I don't like it for Lil Durk. I don't like it for me. I don't like it for you, because this type of stuff right here happens all the time, and it can happen to any one of us. When you get in that courtroom and go to trial, I've been to trial. When you get in that courtroom, the prosecutors start making up stuff and saying, hey, no, this mean that. You can be like, man, that's cap. The prosecutor will get in there and say, when they say that's cap, he's really talking about that he's telling somebody to shoot you in the cap. That's why they aim for the head. And you like, man, that don't mean that. I was just saying that's cap. I'm just saying that this man lying. But the prosecuting attorney, they don't know. For an example, this is a prime example that I'm finna show. I'm about to tell y'all. The YSL case. Man, them people was talking about, man, Young Thug hired people to kill people. Young Thug was there when the murder happened. Young Thug was, sending people on missions and all this old type of stuff. When we got into trial, they didn't have none of that. None of it. They didn't have nothing talking about that YSL, he the leader of YSL. They ain't have nothing talking about that he sent some people to go kill people. None of that. But in the beginning, they was, hey, look, he's the head of YSL. We're going to be able to prove that, he had people killed for YSL. We're going to be able to prove that, he had beat people. And when they got to trial, it wasn't none of that. None of that. They couldn't prove none of that. And that's what I see what's going on right now. Because there's no way that you can use that. Not only that, for those of us who got ears to hear, when you hear the lyrics, Lil Durk say, hold on, let me look, y'all. Give me a second. At the end, Lil Durk say, look on the news and see your son. Hold on, pardon me. He say, look on the news and see your son. You screaming, no, no. That's not talking about Quando Rondo. He's talking about somebody mama looking on the news and seeing their son, and the mama saying, no, no. Seeing her son on the news. Why he say you see your son, you screaming no, no? He talking about, in the lyrics, he's talking about somebody mama sitting back watching the news and they see their son on the news and, oh my God, no, no. How does that have anything to do with Quando Rondo situation? I just don't like it. I'm talking about, like, I don't like how they play them games like that. But see, you will never understand it if you ain't never been to trial, if you ain't never been in the criminal judicial system. You will never understand how they play unless you see it on TV, like we just seen the YSL thing. The boys that they charged with the murders beat the murders because they could not prove the murders in the YSL case. They had two of them brothers charged with murders, and both of them beat the murders because the evidence they had was crap. And here it is, the prosecuting attorney is using these lyrics to say that he celebrated the death of Lil Pop. Do that sound like he celebrated the death of Lil Pop to y'all? Excuse me. Get in the comments and y'all let me know. This got me hot though. I don't like this. Y'all get in the comments and y'all let me know. But the cold-blooded part about this whole thing, even though Lil Durk lawyer, I'm talking about, put up a good little fight and he trying to get Durk up out of there and all that, it's not gonna happen. I'm sorry, Durk fans. I know y'all finna come for me. Y'all finna clown me and all that, because I've been fighting with y'all for years, ever since I had my YouTube channel. But I'm sorry to tell y'all, yes, that is a good motion. He's pointing out a lot of good stuff. But that judge, let me tell you what the judge gonna say. The judge gonna say, okay, yep, you know what, you right, that is old, they can't prove it and all that. We will have the grand jury. We'll reconvene the grand jury and we'll have him disregard that part. Or if not, he might be cold-blooded himself and be like, that doesn't weigh heavenly enough. They got what they say they got? They got 230 gigabytes of evidence, 20,000 pages of evidence, audio, wiretaps, witnesses, video footage. The judge is not finna let Durk go and them boys go because the prosecutor made a mistake or the prosecutor maliciously tried to corroborate that with the evidence. He's not gonna do that. I'm sorry to tell you, Lil Durk fans, that he is not finna do that. Lil Durk is not finna come, and it's sad. It's sad, but Lil Durk is not finna come home off of that motion. Watch what I tell y'all. They finna look at that motion and be like, motion denied. He might not even explain nothing. He might just motion denied. I ain't got to talk to y'all about nothing. Come with something else. Quit wasting the court's time. We got 230 gigabytes of information and evidence against these people. We ain't finna let them people go like that. I'm talking about just like that. That's how they play. Anybody that ever been in the judicial system, y'all know I'm not lying. They don't play fair in the criminal judicial system. And I'm not saying that because I was a victim of the criminal judicial system, but they don't play fair though. You know what I mean? All that, you have equal rights and listen, that doesn't apply. When you get into trial, all the evidence stuff that they got against, they ain't even gonna be talking about that. They gonna be talking about other stuff that's gonna influence the jury to convict you. They gonna pick a mass majority of white people, and listen, you can't get around that because we in the United States of America, the majority is white people. So you're gonna have white people on the jury that don't know nothing about slanguage or nothing. They don't know nothing about slang or none of gangs and all. All they know is that this type of stuff is bad. And the prosecutor is going to get at them. Hey, these guys, they did this over here. They killed somebody. These guys are a criminal organization. People that ain't never been around that type of stuff or don't know nothing about that stuff, they're going to believe what the prosecutor is saying because they look at the prosecutor as he's helping the community. The prosecutor is helping the victims. The prosecutor is for me. If I ever get into something, this is going to be the guy that's going to put the guys away from stealing my purse or robbing my house. You see what I'm saying? And no disrespect, look, no disrespect to white people, nothing like that. I'm just telling y'all how it go. You might get a brother in there every now and then. You might get a sister in there, an Asian or, somebody or something. You might get, something like that, a Latino or Latina or something every now and then. But the mass majority is going to be people that the prosecutor can influence. That don't know nothing about no gang life or how things go or no street life or none of that. That are straight taxpaying citizens that can't stand criminals. And he's going to be talking to them. He going to have them on the stand like, hey, look, this happened, that happened. And they going to be quick to be like, okay, I believe what the prosecutor is saying. I don't believe what this guy is saying. He's a criminal. But I believe what the prosecution is saying. You see, it go like that. It go like that. And them boys in California too. Nah, So here's my thing. Even though Durk's lawyer is putting up a great defense, I'm talking about not a defense, but filed a great motion. But I gotta be 100 with y'all. There is a lot of evidence against Lil Durk and his homies. We gotta ask this right here, y'all. We gotta ask this. How did they even know the plot even went down like that? You see, like, how did they know that these guys jumped on the airplane from Chicago and went to California to go kill somebody? How they know that? How did they even get that tip? How do they know that Durk put a bounty on Quando Wando's head? How do they know that? How do they know that Lil Durk was sitting up here and saying, hey man, check this out. If anybody go kill Quando Rondo, I got y'all. I'ma pay y'all. How do they know that Durk told his homie, hey look, check this out, man. Y'all finna go out there and go kill Quando Rondo. Hey look, don't use the OTF card. Don't put nothing in, don't use nothing that got my name on it. How do they know Durk said that? Who telling them that? What wiretaps is they listening to? You see what I'm saying? So, I understand that he's filing this motion because of that, but they gonna need more than that to get Durk up out of that federal penitentiary. They gonna need more than that. Because the way things is looking, if they being straight up, they got a lot of damaging evidence against Lil Durk. And with them being low down dirty, on top of the evidence, it's going to be tough getting around that. Real tough. And then not only that, we got to think, the only way that they can have that type of pertinent information about Durk is if they've been listening to him on the phone, or there's somebody in his inner circle telling them the whole truth and nothing but the truth about everything. And it's just a matter of time for all that to come out. Why? Because they said that that 230 gigabytes, do y'all know how much that is? That's a lot. They still processing $20,000, I mean 20,000 papers, you know what I'm saying? They still the 230 gigabytes, they still processing that. So they got a lot to sift through. They going through stuff like, okay, they connecting stuff, putting it. So a lot of more evidence probably gonna come out before the trial even start. But unfortunately, and truth being told, they finna deny that. That motion finna be denied. Quick, fast, in a hurry. It ain't even finna be nothing to think about. Even though the prosecution lied and all that old type of stuff, even though the prosecutor, did what he did, the prosecutor can just easily just say, well, Your Honor, what we're trying to do is we're just trying to corroborate the evidence, Your Honor. We're just trying to show that this guy, he will, give someone an address and he will have people killed and he's telling people to go. They can just say something like that and the judge gonna be like, oh, okay, that's cool. I see what y'all saying. And it's over with. All that old, they lied and all that old type of stuff. Man, look, prosecutors lie all the time. Look, the YSL case, you seen how many times them police was lying? You see how many times that prosecutor was lying? Did you see how crooked the judge was in the YSL case? That man was so crooked that they had to take him, they had to remove him and put a whole nother judge in because he was so crooked. I'm telling y'all, and listen, don't ever, especially you young gangsters and you guys that's out there trying to be, you do not want to see that criminal judicial system, all that fair and justice and all no, it's not happening like that in that courtroom. For those of us who have been to court, for those of us who had got in that criminal judicial system, we know because we experienced it. We know because we seen our family members experience it. All of us should know just by watching the YSL case. Man, when I first heard what they was going, I said, oh man, Thug gone, bro. I said, Thug ain't never getting out. I said, they got him, bro. They tell my man, he the leader of YSL, man. He done put hits on peoples and, they done killed a couple of people and he sent some guys to Miami and all this old time. I'm thinking like, man, Thug through. Everybody snitching and stuff like that. But through all that snitching of all them other people that was snitching on that case, couldn't nobody say, yeah, man, Thug sent me to go kill a couple people, man. Thug put a gun in my hand. Thug, gave me a key of cocaine. None of them couldn't say none of that. But the prosecutor did. We're going to prove that, that he's the leader of the... None of that. So all of us should have learned from that case right there. Listen to me when I tell you, especially you young brothers coming up and all. Man, they is not going to play with you. When you get caught up for doing crime and stuff like that, when you get in that courtroom, they is not finna play with you. They finna dog you out. They finna pressure you mentally to take a deal. They finna put you in that small little cell up in there, and I'm talking about misery. All your people that you so-called love, they gonna turn their back on you. Man, it's gonna be horrible. You do not want to go through that. I'm telling you, young brothers. I'm telling you gangsters right now. Stop doing what you doing. You do not. Look what they doing to Lil Durk. Even though I know they got all this other stuff against them, but just for the prosecutor just to try to use that little small snippet and say that this man right here was talking about Lil Pop. That right there should tell you everything you should want to know, because them boys made that song 7 months before Lil Pop got killed. This is Hood Educated, not Lame Related. Peace and love, and y'all take care of yourself out there. If I said anything that caused you to think, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed already. And if you're feeling generous, please make a small donation to the channel. Peace and love.